It's time to get some SportSense. You're gonna get some SportSense. You better get ready for SportSense. SportSense.
What's up, everyone? This is SportSense, the sports show for people who just don't care to keep up with sports. I'm Cooper Epps, an advertising art director who just doesn't keep up with sports no mo. And I'm here with my dad, James Epps, who is a lifelong sports nut who's helping me learn how to talk with people about sports again. Hey, Dad, how you doing today?
Good, Coop. That sounds good. I'm excited to talk sports with you.
I'm excited too. How's it going for you? Did you have a sporty week?
Yeah, I've sporty week, some grandsons basketball games, and they're young. So,
Were you watching or coaching?
No, these are. I'm not coaching any basketball. I've been doing the football and the baseball. It's all with the grandsons. But it's fun to see them. They're progressing. They really are. All of them. They're all progressing. So they're getting a little bit older. The games are getting a little bit more fun and interesting. So it's kind of been fun just to be a fan.
Cool. Well, yeah, it sounds like you're ready to talk some football.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to give you a quick change of pace for just a moment. So are you familiar with, this is something I thought we could talk about the next few weeks. If you want to, you've got to stretch yourself though, and go to ESPN and find some clips and things. Have you heard of the new golf league that Tiger and Rory McIlroy have started?
You know, I meant to ask you about this because I saw something going on in our group.
It's on right now on ESPN. It's called TGL. The TGL. That's the golf league.
I think
you will love it and find it highly fascinating.
Really?
Yes.
What? Okay.
You haven't heard any about it? Oh my gosh. I don't want to get on sidetrack, but it's crazy.
No. Yeah, tell me. Well, this is good. What is the TGL?
Okay, so this really started. The idea started 4 or 5 years ago. So it's the Tiger and Rory McIlroy, but there's big bucks other than them behind it. I'm going to give you the quick thumbnail. Down in Florida on this small college campus, they built a permanent large structure that houses the most sophisticated, amazing indoor driving, basically a screen that's mammoth, multi-stories high. Each team has 3 professional golfers on the team. You've got a Florida team that Tiger belongs to. You've got a Boston team. You got a New York team. You've got like 6 teams. They're all professional golfers. And then Rory and Tiger are the headliners, right? They're on different teams. That's why it's big tonight. This is the 3rd week they've had it. And this is the first time Tiger and Rory's teams have played against each other. But how they do it, real quick, they hit they hit their drive or their first shot into their screen. And by the way, live audience surrounded. So they're hollering and screaming. It's like a hockey game, but golf. They're hollering and screaming and play. They don't get quiet when they hit. It's hilarious. It's a whole different. Don't think of normal golf.
Yeah, paint the picture a little bit for me. So you said it's a giant building. Is it just literally like Is one wall just the screen?
That's right. The forward wall is just a screen that you hit your golf club.
3 walls of fans surrounding them.
Surrounded. Yep.
And then is it basically a driving range in the middle where they just?
No. So you have a driving tee box, and then right beside it you have a green tee box. Excuse me. That you hit your second shot. So if you're in the rough, they have a little box for the rough, so it's taller real grass.
So they have different patches of grass that you stand on based on where your ball landed in the simulation. Exactly.
Now, after that, though, they then walk behind them, and behind them, they have a real green. It's not real grass, but on this green, Cooper, is made up of 600, underneath the surface, 600 circular round, I don't even know what to call them. And they're all computer driven. And they can change that green into thousands of different shapes just by computer programming. When you leave the tee box in your second shot, you go back and they have this light that shines down and shows with an X where your ball is, either on the green or on the fringe or in the sand. And that's where you place your ball and hit your shot.
So most of the game, they're hitting from different patches of grass in the middle of this arena, essentially.
Yeah, right. It's either real nice fairway grass that's like a tee box, nice tee box, or rough of real grass. But once you get around the green,
so let's say in the simulation, you've landed on the green, on the screen, and then you go and drop your ball wherever the light tells you
Put the
on
ball
the
wherever the little, it
shape-shifting.
comes from above. It's a beam that shoots straight down with a little X, and that's where you
And
put your ball. And
so that's like a shape-shifting green that they walk onto?
absolutely, there's a good wording. Yes, these
Okay.
they're all mic'd up, Coop, and there's an announcer talking to them, so they're all talking all the time.
This is crazy. It's like a combination of esports and golf. It sounds like
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
It's like the real thing mixed with technology, and so all of them are mic'd up, and they're giving each other grief. I mean, it's hilarious, especially when they chunk or really hit a bad one. A guy last week, I forget which pro it was, he shanked a chip. He shanked it, and it hit the stick, and all the players start diving, just getting it out of the way because it was such a ricochet. And then you hear Tiger say, "I didn't think we had to worry about hitting the fans." They were but I would take a peek at it sometime. I think it's called TGL.
Okay.
And it's on there right now, and you can see some of the highlights of the first few. And there's 15 holes. They play 15 holes that last about 2 hours.
Okay, well now 15. Now they're changing the number of holes.
Yes, and I can't explain why other than that. I think because this is made for TV mostly, and it's because it needs to be 2 hours or less, the whole thing, right? That's what it needs to be. They're just reshaping the whole world. But anyway, so that was my intro to, blowing your mind on golf. You like to play golf. You like golf.
Yeah, I do like golf. And now I'm looking at pictures now on Google. I should have done this a few minutes ago, but yeah, for anybody who's wondering what this looks like, go Google some pictures of TGL golf. This is even cooler looking than I was imagining based on your description. This is crazy.
Well, I can't describe it all that easy. I mean, it's hard to explain. You got to see it. And
it is hard. Yeah.
The funny part is they all have their own walkout music. So they're coming out of a tunnel, and they got their rock and roll or their country going or whatever their song is for each player. I would like to go see the event one time because it looks like so much fun.
And that's like WWE now.
Exactly. Now you blend in
crazy.
WWE too. And I think they've really come up with a heck of a product. But it's hilarious. Cool. I think it'd be a blast for you.
Well, cool. Okay. Well, I'll check it out. That is interesting.
Check it out so we can talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
That's one thing about sports. I like hearing what they have to say. So I like the idea of them being mic'd up and be able to hear the banter and stuff. That sounds
And again,
fun,
you got a commentator who pipes into their ear and say, "Tiger, what the heck happened there?" And he'll just start laughing or going, "Wow, you just shut." I mean, it's quite the interaction. Highly entertaining.
Well, I'll check it out. And listeners, if you haven't heard, that's TGL. I don't know what it actually stands for. Is it like Tigers Golf League?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's T as in Tiger, G as in George, L as in Larry. TGL.
Okay, yeah. So TGL, that's the new golf league with it's all high tech in Florida. So check it out. Okay, right. Dad.
Let's quickly
scoop there. You want to get into NFL?
I do. There's only 2 games, but they're the 2 that matter.
There's big Cajon.
Huh?
Well, I guess not big Cajon games. Big, what would you say?
I don't know. You got that.
Big,
I don't know.
Big tuna.
Big Kahuna. Yeah, I mean, you can say big Kahuna.
Big Bertha games. I don't know. Yeah, big Kahuna. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's where you were heading.
Yeah.
I hope you edited out the other part. But anyway, so you had remember the NFC championship and the AFC. So championship. The NFC had the Eagles and the Commanders, remember? the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills was the AFC. So here's a few things. One, let's talk about if you're a fan that likes close, exciting games, we'll talk about that last. The first game of the day was the Eagles and the Commanders. Commanders have been what? The Cinderella team, right?
Yeah, we've got the rookie quarterback there, right? He's setting all sorts of records, making history.
Jaden Daniels, and they were doing great. But if you put the roster up against, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Commanders, it was no question the Eagles had much stronger, better. I mean, they got the best offensive line in the whole league. They just really should dominate them. But you just never know because the Commanders came back and beat them on a fluky play or a great play at the end during the season. Anyway, Eagles, let's just get right to it. They manhandle them. So the only cool part, Saquon Barkley is the running back who's had an unbelievable year, got traded. The Giants just let him go, which was stupid. But the Eagles got him. Man. His first play from scrimmage was 65-yard touchdown. Play number 1, he ran 65 yards for a touchdown.
Right out of the gate. That's awesome.
Great start for the Eagles. Terrible for the Commanders.
Wait. Let me ask a question. Saquon, he's a running back, and
Correct.
running backs aren't normally on special teams, right?
No, so they had the kickoff, but now they're
Returning
lining up
kicks.
for the first play
Okay, gotcha.
from
Yeah.
scrimmage, right?
Okay.
So they had to kick off, they get the ball in 35, and now they're going to run their first offensive play.
Okay. So
And
technically
now
play
he gets
number 2.
Well, not really, because it's play number 1 of the first series, which is there's 4 downs, right? So it's the first down of the first real offensive series. You're thinking way too hard.
So the
on this.
kickoff's play 0. We'll call it kickoff play 0. Okay.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay.
It's nothing basically most times. Anyway, so bottom line is Saquon had a day. He ended up having 3 touchdowns, but crazy enough, the Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns and no passing touchdowns. But they demolished. They
had
demolished
7 touchdowns.
7
in that game?
Rushing. I mean, they ran the ball.
Did they have more
the line.
touchdowns than that? What was the score of this thing?
Let's see. So they had 7.
versus...
Well, you got extra points and 2-point plays. So they won 55-23.
Whoa!
They had a field goal in there. They had a field goal in there.
Yeah, that is a lot of touchdowns.
So the big problem was the Commanders had 4 turnovers, lost the ball 4 times.
Oh man!
And here's the key with the Eagles in the postseason. They are what they call plus 10 in the turnover. They've gained the ball 10 more times than their opponents, and that's you do that, you're going to win games. That means you're going to basically dominate teams and beat them.
Yeah,
so
if they keep it up.
That's about the most exciting thing I can tell you. Other than I do think it's pretty cool. I'm not a Philadelphia fan really, but I love that Saquon Barkley got with a great team, had a great season, and is going to the Super Bowl because he languished in New York. You know, they got him to the playoffs one time. He was great, but the team really stunk, and so did their general manager, and they just struggled. So it's fun to see him.
Yeah, kind of like a lot of things in life, but I guess if you could have talent, but if you're not in the right space for your talents to shine, you won't be able to show off as much as you really got.
Especially when you have when you're so dependent upon others. I've told you before, that's why I love football. Offense, you're dependent upon 10 other guys, 11 guys. Defense, there's 11 more guys. Special teams, there's 11 more guys. And those units are interdependent, and then they're dependent upon one another on each side. So, one man cannot change the whole. But a quarterback can have a lot of influence, and Daniels showed that. Jaden Daniels showed that with the Commanders this year. Anyway, that's really all there was to say. Not much more other than I'm excited for them because I think it's pretty cool. They've gone to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years, I believe. So Hurts, their quarterback, he's been kind of maligned a little bit, but he did really well and had a great game. And it's going to be a dogfight. So you want to talk about the second game that was so awesome?
Yeah, I know about this one a little bit, but
did you watch some?
Let's hit. Actually, I watched more of the Eagles game than this one, but and the Eagles. Well, maybe we'll save it for next week. I think next week we're going to talk Super Bowl prep.
Well, because the Super Bowl is actually 2 weeks from yesterday, so we get an extra week in between. Yeah.
So we'll talk about it in more detail next week, but there's some things I noticed about the Eagles play style that I wanted to talk about, but we'll save it for next week, and we can debate about who we think is going to beat the other. But yeah, let's get into this next game.
So this one, honestly, I love Kansas City. They're not my top team, but I love Andy Reid, right? I love the coach, played at BYU and, coached at BYU when he's young, and he's just awesome. He's the neatest guy. He's had challenges in life. He's definitely had some very trying times with his family, with his children, but he just keeps on coming. And I just think he's the best. I love him. He's the best coach, my favorite. And I'm amazed how Kansas City, we've talked about before. So I got to give you the stat. So first of all, they won. They beat, and this is what I'm telling you, broke my heart. They won 32-29 again. They won by 3.
Set the tone for us. Remind me who they were playing against.
Okay. They're playing. This is what broke my heart. They're playing Buffalo Bills. Okay. And I'm going to give you a couple of stats to set the stage. And Josh Allen is their quarterback. He's the one we talked about. Came from Wyoming. Yeah. Was not recruited to go in college. All that. But I think he's a great guy. He's been a great quarterback. He's just been snake bitten because he's He's in the era of Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. So here's the interesting thing. In regular season, since 2020, the regular season games, the Bills and Josh Allen are 4-1 against Kansas City.
Okay.
They won 4 games and only lost 1 in the regular season since 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Since 2020, though, in the playoffs, Kansas City is 4-0. They have never beaten Kansas City in the playoffs.
Crazy.
In the last 5 years.
That's so crazy.
Has
the coach been
everything's
the same?
And this year, honestly, the Buffalo Bills, they're a highly successful story this year. They were kind of thought it'd be a little bit of a rebuilding year. He really didn't have a number one receiver. They had some injuries. They've had some struggles, but he had his best season ever.
Yeah.
He's known to be kind of like a gunslinger in the sense he could throw it a mile and but he also had a lot of turnovers. A lot of interceptions. He fumbled some when he ran. This year, he reduced that to almost nothing and had a fantastic year. And he played a great game yesterday. I saw every snap because I recorded it. So I zip through it. He played a tremendous game. And they finally got the lead. They were up 22-21. They were anyway, it was an incredible game. But just that stat alone, could you imagine how frustrating that is? So they kind of compared to the era about there's some really great teams, and I'll name one right there where you are. There were some great Utah Jazz teams during the Michael Jordan era.
Oh, really?
And nobody just couldn't, Jordan won 6 NBA championships. And they just, Karl Malone and Stockton and out of Utah, they kept losing to them either in the conference finals. Oh, wow. There's other teams too that just couldn't break through and beat the Jordan teams.
Yeah.
It's kind of what Josh Allen's going through right now. It's heartbreaking. He just looks so pitiful at the end of the game. He really played a great game. Buffalo, I'm going to tell you what really cost Buffalo the game. They had their best defensive back, like a cornerback, defensive back. Was in, that means he's one of the smaller guys in the back that plays very quick and goes after receivers. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
That's the one in the back, not the line.
We've been requested an episode where we go through every position on the football team, so we'll do that one of these days.
So this is one of the players. We'll make it simple. They're one of the players behind the line with all the big guys. These are smaller, fast guys who chase the receivers, right?
Okay, sure.
Well, he was in concussion protocol this week. He got injured the week before, and they weren't sure if he's going to be able to make it. Well, he made it, but it was like this, I don't know, second play of the game, third play. It was early in the first quarter. One of his own players hit him in the head. They collided on a tackle and knocked him out. They were having to hold him, stand him up. So he was out for the rest of the game. The next, as they say, and there's nothing against the guy. His name's Elam. The next guy who came in behind him, he just is not his caliber player. And so immediately Kansas City started picking on that defensive back and had a lot of success against him. That probably cost Buffalo the game. That one injury might have cost them the game.
Man.
Okay. And then they got out coached, honestly, some. But so a couple things. I just want to share that to you, right? To kind of set the stage that he has never beaten them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and so
that's in his head at all.
Josh Allen is so close to get to the Super Bowl. He needs to win a Super Bowl. I'm pulling for him. I like him.
How old is he now?
Well, he's still got a few good years. So I don't know how old he is. He's been in the league 8 years now. 7. Okay.
Yeah, so he's got some. If Tom Brady lasted forever, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's the aberration coop. Most of them don't do that. So. Especially Josh Allen. He's big and physical and runs.
Oh, he's only 28 years old.
Cooper, I know, but he runs and gets beat up and tackled all the time. So I don't know. Okay. He'll have a few more good years, but so is Mahomes. Mahomes is relatively young. So,
Yeah, he's 29. Yeah, that's true. So he'll always be up against him.
So I'm going to go back to one other stat that blows your mind, that blew your mind a few weeks ago, but they've added unto it.
Okay.
So Kansas City, try to explain this to your mom. So let's see if I do better with you. So Kansas City has won 17 straight, what they call one-score games, meaning if it's a touchdown or less.
Okay. Yeah.
Not 17 games in a row because they've won a couple. They beat them by more, right? Or they lost one game at the end because nobody played. But every game of the last 17 games that the final score was a touchdown or less, they won them 17-0.
Wow.
That seems impossible.
So basically, all these really close call games, they've barely edged out the
shockingly. It has to do with the coaching and Mahomes and their team. They've got it's in their DNA now. They know they'll win, and when it comes down to the wire, they know they're going to win, and they do what it takes to win when it comes down to the wire.
Oh man.
Same
Is
thing
that
in
what
this
happened?
game. It was tied 29-29.
Okay, yeah.
They started driving, eating up the clock, eating up the clock, and they kicked the field goal to take the lead, and then their defense held, right, and won the game. It's just the pattern. So anyway, it was awesome. But I think what made the game, I love defense. I mean, I really do love defense in football. They have, I mentioned to you before, but they have a coach on the defensive end who's head of for Kansas City's name, Spagnuolo. That's his last name. Call him Spags, but Spagnuolo. He is a genius and most creative. And he came up, the last play of the game, came up with apparently a blitz design he has not used all year.
Whoa.
All the thousands of plays they've had, he hadn't used this one play. And he saved it for like fourth. It was a fourth down play, Buffalo's last gasp chance, and he threw a blitz at them they hadn't seen, and it got them. So anyway,
Cool.
I just love their defense. And
what was so unique about that blitz?
It's just, I don't know. You just have,
And what is
really
a blitz for the listeners?
It's just putting them in a position. The guys that blitz mean it's not part of the line. It's not part of the front four. They call it the defensive linemen. It's not those guys. It's those cornerbacks and safeties I've talked about.
Some extras.
He'll sneak them up or bring them in or shift them in places. And it's very, you ask Keaton. This is Keaton especially, right? His world. But yeah, it's pretty cool when you see it all laid out after the fact and go, wow, that's crazy. They pulled that off.
So basically it sounds like what you're saying is they're sacrificing the players that would normally be trying to block a pass or catch an interception.
Exactly.
They put them up on the front lines and have them rush
at least
the quarterback.
One or two sometimes. Yeah. Or three. So, yes. So you are limiting yourself in the back there, but the bet is they won't get the pass off, right? Or they won't get it off well.
They'll hit the quarterback. Fast.
He's going to be running for his life.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, I guess that's the last big stat that is definitely water cooler talk. All right. Told you before that no NFL team has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Big
that?
deal. We're all hoping for.
So interesting enough, no NFL team has ever gotten to the Super Bowl with an opportunity to win 3 in a row. In other words, and there were 8 other teams who got there and never even made it to the Super Bowl to have a chance at a three-peat.
Wow.
So
Kansas City has already made history.
They already broke a record that's already existed, just getting to the Super Bowl. And then if they win, they'll be the only team ever to have a three-peat in NFL Super Bowl history.
Dang. So would we, because Michael Jordan, you said he won 6 championships. Did he ever do any 3 of those in a row or more?
I think they actually did have 3 in a row, but they've had definitely. And the Lakers had 3 in a row. And that's where the word three-peat came from. Pat Riley. Do you know Pat Riley was the Lakers coach? Okay. And now he's been the general manager of the Miami Heat forever in the NBA. But he trademarked, you call it trademarked? He trademarked the name three-peat.
He coined it?
He coined it, but he marketed it. I mean, it gets used on air on those. Really? He gets a royalty.
What? Really?
Yep. Look up three-peat and Pat Riley.
You can just make up a word and then make
he
money
did.
off of it?
Look it up.
That's crazy. Trademark. Man, I'm going to start making up words.
Pat Riley. Riley.
Yeah, registered trademark owned by Pat Riley. That is so crazy to me. Okay. Wow.
So be careful using it. We might get charged.
That's I guess. Yeah, I feel like you could get a cease and desist order like anytime you say that, or we might get it on this podcast.
Right. I wish we only get that big where Pat Riley hears about us. That'd be great. Anyway, that's really, I just want to share with that, the Super Bowl's 2 weeks from last night, February 9th, and it's going to be in New Orleans, which is always a cool city for the Super Bowl in. It'll be in 6:30 my time, 4:30 your time. And it's the whole build up. On both of these games. Oh, Coop, I got to show you on the opening. I don't know if you saw the beginning. I went back and looked at Philadelphia's. I mean, they were both so patriotic. The national anthem was sung so beautifully and then they had the flag that covered the entire field at Philadelphia. Did you see that?
No.
And the crowd was chanting USA. I mean,
Whoa.
they were fired up, and it was a beautiful thing. Now, Kansas City to me was touching too, because it showed a couple of the players, their best defensive player. He just had tears running down his eyes. But they had a retired Navy seaman, forget what his rank is, but he sang it, and it was incredible. But right flying over it, you know how they usually show like 4 jets flying over it?
Yeah.
This time in Kansas City, they had a stealth bomber.
Whoa.
Single stealth bomber flies over
cool.
the stadium.
Dang.
And those things are crazy looking, and they're massive.
Yeah.
And they look so cool. So that big black stealth flew over while they were singing.
I forgot those even exist. That's crazy.
Oh, and the crowd was going crazy. So great starts to both those games. My hat's off to that. I love the patriotism. Anyway, so that's all I've got, Coop, on that. And I'm really looking forward to you got a great matchup. Sometimes you get a Super Bowl, you think, oh, one team is kind of weak. I don't know, just the way it kind of works in a given year. But and right now, all the superstars are all healthy. They all made it to this point. The quarterbacks, the top receivers, the top defensive players, except for, I think for everybody. So that's kind of cool. And then you get 2 weeks to heal up. So both teams should be full strength, and it should be a blast.
Well, that's great news for the listeners here who like truly have a hard time watching sports. It sounds like it'll be an actually fun game in a couple weeks. So let's dive in next week, Dad, a little bit more detail and talk about who's our main characters, who are some of the players to actually watch out for, who are exciting to watch and stuff like that. So
I'll
we'll
be
dig
ready.
in all right, let's do it. Yeah, we'll dig in a little deeper and and get you guys all prepared for the Super Bowl next week. But for now, know that it's the Eagles versus the Chiefs. Chiefs are going for a 3-peat, which we might have to pay 5 cents for me saying that. But for now, let's leave that until next week. And Dad, I've got a couple little mailbag things for us.
I'm ready
to talk about tonight. Okay. So one of them was from Macy's, my wife's brother. I guess I could just say my brother-in-law, Brody. He wanted to know if we had heard of how good of a Madden player LeBron James supposedly is. The Madden video game.
Right. Football. Yeah. Madden. Yeah. I'm familiar with Madden.
Had you heard about this? That apparently a few months ago, he posted a tweet or something saying he was in the top 100. And I saw an article even saying top 25.
I did not
Madden.
know that.
Yeah. And supposedly in the top 25 Madden players worldwide. Apparently that's Brody, my brother-in-law, was saying when he's not doing basketball, that's what he's doing. He's playing Madden. Apparently he's obsessive about it.
That's crazy. I'd heard he played it a lot, but nothing of this report did I know.
Yeah. No. I think it was just this past year with Madden 25. Apparently he ranked. So
well, I knew he loved football. He played football in high school, and all through his career, he kept threatening that he was going to take a leave of absence from basketball and go play tight end in the NFL.
No way.
And people said he had the build, he had the hands, he had the speed, that they thought he could play tight end without any problem in the NFL if he practiced long enough and got ready. So he has a real love for football.
Yeah, I could see it. He does seem to have the right shape. Yeah,
in his younger years, particularly, he's a beast. Oh my gosh, he could.
But he was obviously making more money with basketball. Is that why he stuck with that? Probably.
I guess. It's
better at
primary, it. Yeah, primary sport, and I think he kept his body much more intact.
I was going to say
basketball versus NFL football.
Better choice physically to go basketball for sure, because you can just flop, and if somebody touches you with their pinky and. You don't have to actually get hit.
Yeah.
So
and he's taken exceptional care of himself, and that's why he can play it over age 40 the way he does. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Well, basketball fans, if you hate what I just said, then come at us. Send us a letter and mailbag and tell me how tough basketball players really are. Change my mind.
Some are, but they don't let them play as tough. The old days, Coop, brutal. Anyway, we won't get into
really.
That
They let them get rough.
Yeah.
In basketball.
Go back and look at we don't have time. Go back and look at the 80s, Detroit, end of the 80s, early 90s, Detroit Pistons Bad Boys. The Bad Boys. That was their nickname. And somebody came in the lane trying to drive to the rim, they would take his head off and just knock him out of the air and knock him on his back and kill him. I mean, and then go older than that, Larry Bird era and things like that. Oh, somebody thought they were going to get a free dunk or something. It was like football. They take them out.
What?
And they just get a regular foul.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they do get a foul. Okay.
Yeah, they get a foul.
How did they not? Okay.
But nowadays, you kind of hit them hard and they'll go, that's a flagrant foul 1. And
right,
think,
or eject them from the game or something.
Yeah. All right. So what's your other fun one?
That sounds. I want to come back to that one of these days for one of our off-season episodes because that sounds really interesting.
It is very interesting.
Okay, the other one is I was wondering, Dad, if you're keeping up with the Mahomes. Did you know that Patrick and Brittany? This is with Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs coming up. Did you know that they just had their third baby?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice. I didn't know, but I mentioned it in front of the in-laws were talking about it, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know. I haven't heard about that. And they're like, what? Everybody's talking. It's everywhere. How do you not know that? But apparently it's big news. Mahomes had their third Patrick and Brittany Mahomes had their third baby.
Yes.
And I was wondering, are you familiar with their names?
Yeah, only because I've heard your sister and them talking about it. They're crazy names. Is it something like Gold, King, Bronze, Silver, or something crazy? What is it? Have you looked
you're all over it. Yeah, I guess they're going for medals, and so their oldest is named Sterling. I knew as Sterling growing up. That's fairly normal. And then I guess their second kid is Patrick, but they call him Bronze. I guess Bronze is a nickname or middle name, maybe.
Yeah.
And then the one they just had is named Golden.
There you go, Golden.
So interesting. I don't know if he's just obsessed with awards, but but here's the kicker, as you would say. I guess they have 2 dogs, and they're named Steel and Silver. So they got. They got all
know about the dogs,
medals and alloys going on. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right,
so now I'm curious what kind of dogs they are, because you got to be a Rottweiler or something named Steel.
Surely they're not those little. Surely they're not a handbag. What do they call those little?
Oh yeah, doggies? Like a Chihuahua. Or,
the one they put in their purse and their
French
bag.
Bulldog. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, there you go. There's a little fun fact for you.
Thanks for sharing.
That was also from the in-laws. But okay, I got a trivia question for you. Are you ready for Pop's quiz before we go?
I am. Give it to me.
Okay, this might be an easy one for you, but
don't ever say that.
I know you hate when I set it up like that. Okay,
I'll give it to me anyway.
I'll stop saying
just listen.
What football position did Travis Kelce play in high school?
Quarterback.
Okay, yeah, good job. That's the one.
Well, thank you for giving me one I knew.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask if you were just guessing or if you
know what?
Knew it.
No, actually, I just heard that recently. So that's the only reason I had top of mind, I guess.
Well, there you go. I just saw a quote earlier today saying that Josh Allen was the type of quarterback he wanted to be, apparently.
Right.
Or he really looked up to Josh Allen.
Right.
And he said the quote said he just didn't have the arm talent for it, is what he called it.
Got it.
Not sure what that means, but you'll be able to teach me more about quarterback arm talent one of these episodes.
Yeah. Strength, accuracy, and all that. Quick release, those type things.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you think if you're strong and can hold a football in your big old hand,
it's like a pitcher in baseball, right? There's a special gift they've got, the way their arms are built, and they can release and get a ball up to 100 miles an hour or 95. There's just something special about that arm.
How fast can a football generally get?
I don't know. I really don't know a speed clock on that. I know that these big boys can throw it 60 and 70 yards on a rope. It's crazy how far they can throw it.
Can throw a football.
I don't usually hear the speed ever mentioned because they put all these different angles and arcs on them. And
right. Yeah. It's not just
touch, big touch. So yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a bullet, like a baseball. And they're bigger, obviously. Supposedly Joe Milton threw a 62 mile per hour football at the NFL Combine. I don't know who Joe Milton is, but Zach Wilson. He's our BYU guy, right?
He could whip a ball.
says he threw a football at 69 miles an hour, fastest throw for a quarterback at the time. So I don't, so they can get above 60. It seems like a top.
So that's
speed.
the combine. That's about the only time you ever get it measured, I guess. So that's pretty cool. That's crazy. I didn't know it's that fast.
Well, there you go.
All right, killer.
Okay. Well, maybe next week ahead of the Super Bowl, I'll also prepare a little like something about ads, maybe some ads to look out for from. I got a couple friends with commercials in there this year.
Let's talk ads next week because that's fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We can talk about our favorites from last year or least favorites.
And I'll try to find a stumper for you somewhere in the football. There'll be a Super Bowl ad stump question for you.
Well, that'll do it for tonight. Everybody, don't forget to write us at SportSense mailbag at gmail.com with anything you want us to discuss on the show next week. Remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I've been uploading our video feeds to YouTube. And just in general, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with someone you know like me who might need a little help keeping up with basic sports news, we'd really appreciate that. We would love to grow the show and help out some more people. So with that, Dad, thank you so much.
Thanks, Coop. See you, Coop.
See you, Dad.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
SportSense.